This meeting is being recorded.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our 2023 pre-camp leaders meeting for Camp Lewallen, part of the Greater St. Louis Area Council. Here tonight from the camp administration side, we have Sam Herndon, who has agreed to serve as the camp director for 2023. Many of you probably know Sam or his son, who have been long time attendees at Camp Lewallen there, as well as our program director for 2023, Dylan Seabaugh, is with us tonight. My name is Matt Kaufman. I'm the camping director for the council, and I'll kind of be guiding through a little bit of this. My role oversee the Scouts BSA and venturing summer camp programs in our council. So helping out to lead these pre-camp leader meetings and make sure everyone's getting all the answers to their questions that they might have. Again, if you do have questions at any time, you can jot those down in that Q&A box. You can also take down those contacts that are on the screen at the moment if you don't have them already, to reach out. If you have questions after tonight, feel free to reach out to any of us and we'll get back to you. You can also reach out through our council help desk. That's help@stlbsa.org. And one of our camping or program department support staff have been monitoring that and getting back with people as well, so that we can answer any of your questions, no matter when they might come to mind. First up on our agenda tonight, this is just a screenshot of the cover page for the 2023 Leaders Guide for Camp Lewallen. So that QR code that's on the screen will take you right to the PDF version of the Leader Guide. If you want to pull that up on another device or look at it as we're going throughout the meeting, you can. That, as well as other resources, you can find online at stlbsa.org/camps. You'll see at the top of that page, if you go to that page on our council website, there'll be a blue bar that says resources and other information. Any of the forms you might need for summer camp, from medical forms to the refund request form, campership forms, all of those things are on that page under that resources link, so you can find them easily right there on the website. If there's anything you think we're missing, make sure you let us know. We'll talk specifically about a few of those items here tonight as we go throughout the meeting. But again, if you that resource is there, all the leader guides are online, everything is available for you. Wanted to cover a couple of important dates as well this evening. First one being today. Today is when that early bird savings goes or stops being available. So by the end of the day today, so midnight tonight, if Scout pays in full by the end of the day, they receive that $20 discount for early bird savings. Adult fees do not have late fees associated with them. They're the same no matter when the adult signs up. But for the youth, as we're trying to get our planning done, that savings does take effect today. The deadline to submit camperships is May 1st. So please make sure if you have scouts that have a financial need to attend camp, that they apply for those camperships. We have the funds available to help people attend. We want to make sure that they're using them. We actually last year did about $50,000 less than we normally do because there just weren't the applications. So please don't let finances be a reason that a scout does not attend camp this summer. We want to help them be there. They are generally will fund up to half of that cost of the week of summer camp. So it's a big savings. And then if you throw that in with the fundraising that a unit can do on a year-round basis, hopefully they can attend camp without much out of pocket. Then I wanted to mention that May 31st, final payments are technically due before that date because the price does go up a little bit more than after May 31st because we're so close to camp, adding people on at that time. We've already begun purchasing things and need to make sure that we've gotten everyone on board that we can. So that does end up being another deadline that's out there. So if they haven't hit that early bird savings, that's fine, but then try to get them signed up before that May 31st date. I do want to mention one other deadline that's not on the screen, but it does apply right now until it's not about summer camp specifically. Well, it is, but not about Camp Lewallen specifically, I should say. We have had for a couple of months the 2023 camp t-shirts available for pre-order on our online trading post, gatewaytraders.org. Those pre-orders close this coming Sunday, the 16th, where then we will be placing the orders and getting that all ready to get into the camp trading posts before campers arrive. So if you know for sure that you're a troop that may buy t-shirts for your entire troop every year or something like that, or you want to make sure that your size is there when you or make sure that you get the size that you need, you can go on pre-order and you'll guaranteed to have that. So that is an option up through Sunday the 16th. So I just wanted to mention that before I forgot tonight. Couple things that I'm going to cover, and then we'll let Sam and Dylan talk more about the specifics for Camp Lewallen program and the like. Troop leadership requirements, just a few reminders for everybody. Each unit must have those 2 registered adults who are at least 21 years of age, attend camp. It does not have to be the same 2. They can rotate throughout the week. You can have more than 2, obviously, but that 2 is the minimum. And of course, if you have a female troop that is attending, at least one of those registered adults has to be a female as well, who is at least 21. It is important that you all know this part. Any adult who will be staying a total of 72 hours, that does not have to be consecutive, but if it during the week an adult is going to be there for 72 hours or more, they do have to be registered members of the BSA as well. And that has to be in a paid registration position, not just like a merit badge counselor. That's an unpaid spot. Those 72 hours, again, don't have to be consecutive. And beginning September 1st of this year, that will be in effect for any overnight camping experience, not just with that 72-hour line that's in there now. It will be any overnight camping experience with scouting. Those attending will have to be registered members. There's a small carve out for parents in the Cub Scout program, but as far as we're concerned with Scouts BSA, this is out there just so you're getting a heads up. We've had emails go out about it. There's been a lot of posts on Facebook pages, both through our council and also with the different volunteer ran pages throughout the Facebook that you'll see everywhere. So I just wanted to bring that up and make sure that you were aware of that. If at any point you have concerns about meeting those leadership requirements, reach out to Sam as the camp director, or you can reach out to myself. Let's work with you, see if it's something we need to pair you up with someone else or whatever we need to do. We don't want a lack of leader or something like that to be a reason that the kids don't get to attend camp. So again, feel free, reach out to us if needed on that. I don't like that snake. I'm just going to tell you, the snake in the picture's name is Margaret. She is apparently very sweet, but it's a snake and shouldn't be able to move, and it does, so it bothers me. Anyways, moving on. Before camp begins, so now until camp starts, some different things in the registration process that we want to make sure that you are taking care of. Make sure that the numbers you have in your registration are accurate. If you have blank spots that you're not sure if you're going to fill, there's a method that I'll explain here in a second to remove those spots. We prefer you get those numbers as accurate as possible. So you can always add scouts and adults as needed. Just once you're inside that registration in the system, there's an additional actions button. You click on that, click add participant, and then choose the number and type that you need to add. You can do that at any point up until camp. So you can add any as you need. If you need to delete, there is a form that you'll have to complete. It's an online form on that stlbsa.org/camps page. Fill in some basic information, and our support staff goes in and deletes that off of the registration. If you have added a spot but not done the checkout process for that spot yet, you can still remove it through that additional actions button. But if it's been pushed through the checkout process and booked, then we have to do it. Also on that same page where you'll find that deletion request will be the refund request. So if you have someone that has paid money and you need to request a refund for whatever reason that might be, better to do that if you know someone's not going now to put that in, request that refund now, because as we get closer and closer to camp, the maximum amount of the refund may go down depending on the reasoning for the cancellation. Obviously, for extenuating circumstances and emergencies, we take those things into account. But sooner the better to get those taken care of. It's important, if you have spots, to go ahead and get the scouts' names assigned to the spots. Make sure that those are accurate, so that you've got those taken care of and it's not just empty spots that you're carrying on the reservation. Get your adults registered as well. So whether it be a full-time adult that's going to be there the entire week, or starting last year, we had the option to register people as part-time leaders, where it's a different registration type. You add their name and then you select the days that they're going to be at camp. That helps a lot with planning, and also just helps to make sure that we know how many people are going to be there at different points throughout the week. So that part-time adult's a great thing. If you have someone that's going to come down for 2 or 3 days, you can just sign them up that way. One thing that was asked of me after last night's meeting for Rhodes France was, well, I'm going to be gone for a day, but someone else is taking that spot. If it's going to be the same total number of people, like that situation, you don't have to register them as a part-time adult. Just when the one that was in that spot leaves, the other one will take that spot. So it's still one spot. So if you have 2 adults, but one's changing on like Wednesday, you don't have to register that second person. You just have to check them in once they arrive at camp, and the other one gets checked out. Make sure that you're signing the scouts up for classes. That is important. A lot of you have already done that, I'm sure. But making sure that the scouts are getting signed up for classes. You can make changes to those schedules right up until you get to camp, essentially. And we can still make changes once they get to camp. So we want to make sure that the scouts are getting into the classes that they want. Some have class size limits that make that more challenging. Others have a lot of room and won't be an issue for you. And then last but not least on this list, making sure that those scouts submit, and adults, I should say, submit any special dietary requests or needs that they may have, whether it be a medical condition, religious dietary restrictions, whatever it is. There is a form on that same page, that stlbsa.org/camps, for the special diet request. It's a simple Google form that you fill out that is shared with our food service company, to where they know coming in what they need to have on hand to prepare those special meals, take care of any allergies that might be in place with the scouts. So make sure that you do get those forms filled in for the youth and adults that are going to be attending, so that we can be prepared for you upon arrival. Last thing we want to see happen is a scout on Sunday evening at camp not have the right food because they have not gotten that form submitted ahead of time, and we have everything that we need. Sean asked it's not an email for removing the scouts and leaders. It's a form on that stlbsa.org/camps page. So it is in that blue drop down of resources. You'll see the need to remove scouts from your registration. Click here, and it's a simple form you fill in, and then that goes to one of our support staff, and they take care of that for you. If you run into any issues with that, Sean, reach out to me and I'll help you out with it. All right. Next thing, just a little bit of other additional information. A week or 2 ahead of time before you arrive at camp, you'll receive what we call the program form. It's essentially a Google form that you will fill out, and it asks about tent needs, cot needs, any of those kind of things, special program requests that you might have as a unit. All of that information, that'll go out to whoever the registration contact is in the Black Pug system for your troop reservation. So make sure that person is expecting it, because sometimes those people are not the ones that know the answers to those questions. It might be someone that's handling the registration for you ahead of time. So just know that they're expecting that. They can forward that on to the right person if it's not them. But make sure you do complete that in a timely fashion, so that the camp administration can make sure that everything is ready upon your arrival at camp. And speaking of arrival at camp, I'm going to actually throw this one to Sam because I'm not as familiar with Camp Lewallen yet as I'm learning this role as the camping director. Just to give you a little overview of what that arrival and check-in looks like for the troops at Camp Lewallen.
All right, give me just a second. I have it here. Now, I will be honest. I'm going to rely on Dylan a lot on this because I haven't checked a troop into Camp Lewallen for about 15 years. We years ago started having a camp. Our troop has a summer camp master who's going to be there all week, and that's usually not me. And they set all this up, so I don't have to do this anymore. When you get to camp, you're going to come to the office and do check-in. Go back to camp. You've got to do your medical checks. You'll do swim checks if you haven't done them in advance. You take a tour of the camp, and including the dining hall. So you'll get our dining hall, everything all set up for dinner for the dining hall. And I believe that's it, right, Dylan? What did I miss?
That's seemed to be all it is.
I honestly don't think it's changed since the first time I checked a troop in the late 80s. So
It's pretty
back
formulaic.
to the same routine. I don't think it changed a bit. So
Yep. Thank you. If anyone does have specific questions, feel free to put those in that Q&A, and we'll be able to answer those for you as we go throughout. Just wanted to kind of give a little overview so that you know what to expect upon arrival there at Camp Lewallen this summer. So next up, unless I'm forgetting anything, nope, good, is the BSA annual health form. So we wanted to cover this tonight just to make sure, give you guys a couple of tips and tricks that you might need. So of course, health forms are required for all attendees. They must be on that official BSA annual health and medical record. The form that like school physicals or doctor's office may use is not acceptable for our national camp standards. So we need it to be on that right form. So any scout or scouter gets into the habit eventually of when you're going for a physical, you always take that form with you so that the doctor can fill it out as well. So make sure that it's on that correct form. If you are going to be there for under 72 hours as an adult leader, then it can be just parts A and B, which is the health history portion and releases that can be done. So that's the only part. And if you're there for under 72 hours, where it's just parts A and B, everyone else needs A, B, and C. C being the actual physical examination that's conducted by a physician, or there are a few other entities that can perform that. It does have to be current within the last 12 months. And one clarifying thing that I think is always helpful, just as an example, if last year your scout had their physical or an adult had it done on June 15th, so June 15th, 2022, it is good through the end of June 2023. So it's not day to day, it's to the end of the month a year after it was completed. So if by chance you're one of those lucky ones that may have had it done in June, technically you can get by with the same form this year coming to camp and don't have to get that redone. So just know that. And it's a huge help for everyone involved. If you as a unit leader take the time to review those ahead of time. We know there's always going to be the one scout whose parent runs up to you right after you load the trailer and pull out of the parking lot with the health form, and you may not have time to look over that one. But try to take a look at those ahead of time. Make sure signatures are where they need to be. Allergies are marked if there are any. Medications are listed properly. One thing that is almost always missed, and I'll do it on here, is this little bitty minuscule checkbox on the front page. That is the box that is most often overlooked on these. And that basically means if a scout or an adult has no restrictions for attending the camp, that box should be checked, because that means no restrictions are necessary and they can fully participate in everything. Almost everyone falls under that category, but that is the most often missed item on the health forms. And then just as a side note for scouts attending camp, we have a lot of scouts that may be on different medications and all. Just really, really work with your parents to encourage them not to play doctor on their own right before sending the scouts to summer camp. A lot of times parents will take someone off of a medication because, oh, they're going to camp, they don't need this. It's one for, mainly when they're at school. And well, we have some classes too, and those things may still affect them. So they really, if it's a medication they're supposed to be on, please encourage the parents to have them stay on it when they attend camp. It makes our lives as camp staff and your lives as leaders much easier in most cases. Your scouts well, better than we ever would, but it can be very helpful if they don't make those sudden changes where they're not used to it right before getting to camp, and it can just cause issues. So, all right, pre-camp swim checks, just to talk a little bit about those. They can be done ahead of time before you arrive. It does have to follow the right procedures. There is a unit or a BSA swim classification record form that we've linked on our website as well, so you can access it. The front page is kind of the roster that gets filled out and marked with everyone's swim classification after the test. The back side includes the instructions for giving the test and explains who can administer that test. So a certified lifeguard, whether it be Red Cross, BSA, there may be other organizations that are equivalent, and that's okay. They have to be the ones to perform that test. And then that form gets turned in as part of your check-in process at the camp. Now, the aquatics staff, the aquatics director and their staff can choose to retest someone if they don't think that their ability is matching what was marked on that form, if they deem it necessary, just to maintain the safety of everyone in that area. This can really speed up your check-in day, make your Sunday a little bit more enjoyable while you're getting set up at camp. The other item to note is the first step of the swim test is to jump into water over your head and then level off. If the pool does not have a spot that is over their head, they can't use it. I've ran into that in the past where they thought they could use a smaller pool that didn't have the depth required, and it just doesn't work. So make sure that the facility you use, if you take advantage of this, is proper and you can meet all of the requirements the way that they're written. But we wanted to mention that just as a opportunity for you to get that done ahead of time and help speed up a little bit of that check-in day. From there, we will jump into some of the actual camp program that will be happening this summer. I'm going to let Dylan, since his title has program director in it, this seems very fitting that he talk about program. So I'll get these points pulled up, and Dylan, I'll let you take it from there.
So the main thing with the Wayfinder program, our current director is Zach Robinson. It's going to be his first year taking over from Austin Sullivan from last year. But essentially the Wayfinder program, it is broken up into sections. There are a few classes: Scout and Tenderfoot, second class, and first class requirements. And with these are just designated class periods for each of these individual ranks. Essentially, if there's a scout that wants to take merit badges while also participating in the Wayfinder program, they don't have to sign up for all of the classes. They can sign up for just Scout and Tenderfoot, or just second class, or just first class. That way, they have a lot more opportunities as far as the summer goes, as far as any freedom to go to any merit badges they really want, if they want to free up some time. Usually the program, it lasts all week long. On Friday, no, not Friday evenings, Thursday evenings, there is the Wayfinder campfire. It's kind of just a last time to hang out with the Wayfinder crew. They just sit around a campfire in the evening, you get s'mores and stuff, and they also tell scary stories to each other. So it's a fun time. I've participated in a few of them just when I was wandering around. It's a blast. But yeah, the Wayfinder program, it's good because it helps those scouts that are just joining scouting get some of the necessary rank requirements if they have not been able to do it at the regular troop. And that's the general gist. Family night. So usually how Wednesday night goes, we have pretty well all afternoon program is replaced. Instead of us having the merit badges, we have more of a whole bunch of different competitions going on over camp. There's been the rock climbing wall races. There's been the turtle derby. There's been a whole bunch of different little tiny programs that each of the areas put on, and that gives an opportunity that at the end of the week, usually they'll get awards for it. But the reason we do it on Wednesday is so if any families show up, they are able to watch some of these events with their scouts and it just kind of see their general participation. And as far as the campfire, at 8:15 before we do our OA call out ceremony, we usually have the scouts put on a skit program. Each troop will just do one skit, and entertain the families as they're there right before the. And another good thing is it also buys a lot of time for the OA crew as they're getting set up across the lake. So so let's see here. So the St. Francis float trip, we've done it in years past. There's been a hiatus for it for a while, but recently the Ranger Matt, yeah, the Ranger Mike. I don't know where I got Matt. I saw your name and I blanked for a moment. Yeah, Mike Hanby, he recently, this is his baby, getting the river up and running. And essentially what they'll do is they'll take you upstream and you'll float to camp. The old method was floating from Camp Lewallen to the 34 recreation area, but that area has a particularly dangerous spot that I call the log jam that the Corps of Engineers just refuses to clear out for some reason. But the one upstream doesn't have any of those problems. So it's actually it's a pretty nice float. Me and a few of the Pure Camp crew from last year got to float it ourselves. It's a fun time, but it lasts a good while, probably like an entire morning or afternoon, depending on. Mine's probably going to be morning when they put in. Go real quick. Yeah, as far as there's certification for the climbing tower. If you wish to rent out a campsite in Camp Lewallen during the off season and have troops come out and use the climbing tower, this is a perfect time for adults to get certified. Oftentimes it takes 2 certified climbing tower staff that have been trained with this training or elsewhere to run the climbing tower. So this is a good way for adults too. The Dutch oven cook-off, this is put on by the Scoutcraft area. Usually how it goes is they allow 1 dinner dish and 1 dessert dish. So that where there's 2 different brackets for what sort of participation you can get. And then the ATV program, it's pretty well. That's Myron Carter on that screen too. I just realized who that is. The ATV program. This is a good way for not adults, but older youth to participate in this ATV program. It's basically a safety course, but they also get to kind of not roam freely around camp. They're guided, but it's just a fun little course. We've had it for, I want to say 5 years, 6 years. It's been a while since we had it.
All right. I will take this next slide here just because this is some new information for 2023. So you may notice that as you're signing scouts up for classes, some that may not have had a class fee in the past have one associated with it. In a lot of cases, those classes before said, bring X amount of dollars and go to the trading post and buy this kit for this badge. Well, that causes a lot of chaos on the first days of camp, usually, as the scouts are trying to do that. So this year we built it in. Instead of them having to bring that amount of money, we're doing that as the class fee, and then we will provide the kit in that program area for those scouts on their first day at class. That way, so whether it be basketry, leather work, the arrows for archery that they have to make, any of those things, will be on site in the area, and the kids don't have to go back and forth to trading post to the program area. They don't get there and go, oh, I forgot that, I got to go back. We'll take care of it for you. That's just a different way of handling this year. So it's a little different, but we're going to try it out and see if it works. We got some good feedback that individuals were happy about that change. So hopefully that continues to be the case as we go throughout, and can get that in those kits to the kids and not have them have to wander all over because they miss most of the class if they ever have to go to the trading post and back. So just wanted to cover that tonight. And then Dylan, any of these additional things I'll let you mention here.
Okay. So the first point here, the open swimming and boating. Different campsites. There's two categories of campsites. There's we call them the mountain man, and then the tribes, essentially. And they're just named after their respective entities. But the tribes and the mountain men, they kind of have their own scheduled open swimming and boating period. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I always get confused with boating because they change it from year to year as far as the scheduling for that. But open swimming is usually going to be, there's one period directly following the free period after lunch, and then one around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Boating, I'm pretty sure the free boating might be, it's supposed to be scheduled around the same time of those. And essentially, whenever you do the check-in period and they make all your buddy tags, they're going to make you 2 copies, one to have for the pool and one to have for the lake. That way, if you want to do free boating that particular time, you can. Yes, stand-up paddle boards. We've had these for a while. I've used one. They're pretty fun. Though a lot of people begin to wear themselves out and prefer to use the canoes and kayaks instead. But stand-up paddle boards is still pretty fun. As far as evening programs, we usually have something planned for each individual evening. Opening night, of course, we have our opening campfire. We put on a skit show for y'all. Then, let's see, Monday, we have stargazing in the late evening, and then open climb at the climbing tower. Tuesday, we have this is the part that gets confusing. So it's the Lake Palooza on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday, we have the Water Carnival. And they're just 2 major programs that involve all of camp. They just compete for glory, essentially, as getting the award. And that award will be gifted to them Friday night's closing campfire. Wednesday, of course, is our family night. It's got the skit program. And, of course, we have the OA call-out ceremony, where any potential candidates that have been selected by their peers will be selected to join the order. And then, let's see, Thursday, we have the Mount Logan climb, which former Scoutcraft director here, it's always a fun time. You have the option of staying on top of the mountain if you so pleased, or just to go up and go down. So you don't have to be stuck up there if you don't want to necessarily. But of course, we need proper adult supervision up there. If there are troops that don't have an adequate amount of adults to do that, they can always kind of co-op with another troop and possibly have the proper adult supervision in those cases. And then, yeah, Fridays are closing campfire, and that's pretty well all of our evening programs.
Okay, and then were there any other unique aspects that you guys wanted to touch on this evening? That this would be a great time for that as well.
Yeah, there is. We had a scoutmaster in our council. He took the time to create an entire geocaching kit, essentially. There's hundreds of geocaches they have put out around camp. If there's any free time that you might have, feel free to go to the office. They have a whole kit for you to use, and there's a bunch of different geocaches for you to find. There's also around camp, we have the Gaga Ball pit, which is a major hit for the kids. There's 2 of them. There's one right out in front of the trading post, and one all the way over by the climbing tower. We also have a life-size foosball court thing, which is also over by the climbing tower. But as far as I can think, that's all that's coming to mind at this particular time. I might think of some more later on, but
Sure. Before I go to this next screen where I'm going to talk some about staffing opportunities, I wanted to give a moment for Sam to make any comments or anything he wants to say tonight as the incoming camp director here for this summer, and give him a chance to talk to the leaders. So whatever you'd like to cover at this point, Sam's perfectly fine.
Okay, appreciate it. I'm really honored and really looking forward to being camp director. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time. I've been coming to this camp, came to Lewallen the first time for a call out in 1976. I started coming to camp regularly in the early 80s, and I've been coming ever since. I know that I've talked to a lot of leaders. I know a whole lot of the leaders in Southeast Missouri. I took an opportunity to talk to people about what we could do to improve, what they liked about the last couple of years, what they didn't like. So we will be looking to improve our camp, improve our staff, improve our professionalism. And I'm always open to suggestions. I don't like complaints. I like suggestions. And I like people that have suggestions with suggested solutions. Don't come in and say, I don't want to do this. I don't like doing this. Come in and tell me, well, I'd rather do it this way. And we will do our absolute best to build the best program we can for you. My door is always open. Come on in, come up and visit, and just get to know us too. I'd like to get to know other leaders I don't know. I'm sure the leaders I do know will wander by and visit during the week. And said I look forward to it. I put in a plug. We still have some lead staff opportunities. If you've got some 18-year-old Eagle Scouts, they're 18, 19 that are home for college in the summer and looking for a job, we have one. Especially we need a business director, and it's a good opportunity. I got to be 18 and have a clean driving record, and I think that's all they have to do it. And we probably I know we've got a half a dozen openings left, but have them get a hold of me or Dylan right away if they're interested. We really, especially the business director, we need to get that one filled as quick as we can. Dylan, what else do we have open? I know we've got a couple of more bigger positions.
We need an ATV director at this time, an Apex director. We also need a dining hall steward and the support staff for the dining hall steward. At this time, I believe, I probably should have had my spreadsheet pulled up to begin with. But for the most part, that's all that I can think of that we need. I think in total,
I think that covers them all. Yeah, they're other than the dining hall, they're pretty much all lead positions.
Yeah, we managed to luck out. Austin Sullivan, our former Wayfinder director, has taken up the Apex position. So that's always a harder one to fill, but he managed to step up and take that spot. Let me pull up my spreadsheet here just so I can confirm. I don't want to miss anything. So yeah, business manager was the one you had said earlier there. Dining hall and the support staff, ATV director, and Apex assistant. Austin Sullivan can't do it all alone. We also need a lake and troop counselor. So I probably should have gone through age requirements for these. The lake and troop counselor, it really is preferably just an older scout. It does not necessarily need to be 18. That's usually the lake director's position. But the ATV director is a 21-year-old position, and it requires you to go all the way to a training camp. Usually, I think in years past it's been in Texas, but I'm not sure if that's still the case.
Yeah, there's a couple of options that we've got that we're trying to, as soon as we identify someone, get them into, so that we can maybe not send them all the way to Texas, but it may happen.
Yeah. The Apex assistant is an 18+ position, preferably, mainly because we needed the proper adult leadership for all the supervision requirements. But yeah, that's an 18+ position, definitely. A dining hall steward does not have to be 18. It's probably preferred to be at least an older, responsible scout. And I think we have a new cook staff, and I believe I might shorten the food service aides that we might need from 2 staff to just 1, a dining hall steward and then a aide, and they will assist in the cleaning of the dining hall after meals, essentially, and it probably assist in the dishes. But also, yeah, the business manager, also a 18 plus position, though it's most of the time for the last multiple years it's been someone 21 and older, just because it's a lot of responsibility in camp. They're basically the accountant slash gopher of essentially of camp. That's the gist.
Yeah, that's a great lead in because really leaders and other scouts and current staff members are some of the best ones to help us locate the staff members that we still need. We do have some needs at other camps as well. So if it doesn't work out for them at Camp Lewallen, we have other opportunities across our camps. So the minimum age for the other positions would be at least 15. Again, there's always going to be those that have specific age requirements due to standards or other rules and regulations. But we do have opportunities at each of the camps. You can find out more and apply online there for those at that stlbsa.org/camps. You just look for the work at our camps section. But if you have a lead for Camp Lewallen specifically, reach out to Sam or Dylan and let them know so that we can try to get the rest of that crew rounded out and ready to welcome in the scouts come June. So those are the formal presentation points that we were going to cover tonight. But we have some time. If you have any questions that haven't already been asked, you guys have. I'm thinking we have a seasoned group of leaders on this call for a lot of cases because there's just not been too many questions. But if you do have any, you could just unmute at this point and ask it, or you can put it in that Q&A and we can do it that way as well.
I have a question. What night is the Dutch oven cook-off so I know when to have the ingredients?
That'll usually be Wednesday, the same day as the family night. So
Okay.
I believe it's going to be, in years past, it's been around 4 o'clock. It might be subject to change, but it's going to be usually on Wednesday.
Okay, thank you. And here's another quick question. The book said guests can arrive on Wednesday at 4 o'clock. The screenshot said 5 o'clock. Which is it?
Oh,
No, honestly, it's
Carnival.
yeah. If the camp leadership's okay with them arriving a little bit earlier, that's okay. We typically have put that. So I'll tell you a little secret. We're using a lot of the same slides in the different presentations we're doing for the different camps, and that may not have been caught. So as they said, if those are arriving a little earlier, that's okay. The way that the program is structured at Lewallen's a little different with those competitions and all happening in the afternoon. It's just a little different than some of the others where they've got merit badge classes going up till 5.
So 4 or 5? What do I tell my moms?
They can come earlier as 4 if they wish.
Okay.
I do believe.
Thanks.
No problem.
Sure. So for a minimum age position, we have a scout that said is on a waiting list to be on staff there, but that one, reach out to me. My email is matt.kaufman@scouting.org. So definitely if there's someone that's on a waiting list, just reach out to me and then I'll coordinate with Sam and Dylan if we haven't heard from them or if they haven't heard from us so that we can take care of that and we can do that. Dylan, if you can see Sean's question, if you want to answer that one, just to clarify.
Yes, still doing the overnight on Mount Logan. Yes. You're not required to go up and stay, but you're more than merrier to do so. We usually have one scout bring the entire crew down with the proper adult leaders supervision, or one staff member that is, and then the rest of them stay up top the mountain. So we have our adult leadership with our scoutcraft director and any scoutmasters that went up the mountain as well. So yeah, Mount Logan hike, as far as I know, is still up to ready to go.
Okay.
What night is that?
That'll be Thursday night. We usually try and leave around 7:15 from the trading post deck.
Great, thank you.
All right. again, if you haven't asked a question and one comes to mind after we wrap up here tonight, that's perfectly fine. Reach out to myself or Sam or Dylan. You can also, again, like I said at the beginning, reach out to that help@stlbsa.org. Or watch those questions as they come in. It's the support staff are answering questions. If and I jump in and try to handle some if it's a busier time as well. So we'll get back to you as quick as we can on that. But I'm not seeing any other questions at the moment coming through. So again, if you know of someone that might have missed tonight or want to share any of this information with parents, we will post the recording as well as the slides that you all saw tonight. We'll get those posted on the website either tomorrow or potential. Well, I know if I don't get it tomorrow, it won't be Friday. It might be Saturday because I'll be traveling for an event on Friday, but we will get it posted and ready to go for you. We do appreciate everyone attending tonight, your participation. I want to say thank you to Sam and Dylan for all the hard work that they've put in already and will continue to do along with the rest of the staff at Lewallen this summer. And I look forward to seeing the leaders there each week as I'll try to make it down for all the leader meetings that we'll do. I think it's on Tuesday afternoon that we'll do our special ones that I'll try to make it down from SPRF and see everybody. So not seeing any other questions. So Sam, Dylan, if you have anything else, otherwise we'll kind of wrap up and say goodnight.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing everybody at camp. It's told some of my friends the other day, it's getting real now. I bought my uniforms for summer camp and I'm signed up for National Camp School. So it's about to happen. I think I go to camp school in about 3 weeks. So
yeah, you do around that. Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty close to it. So I'm excited about it. This is as close to a vacation as I've had in a long time. So I'm looking forward to going out to camp and spending a month.
All right. Well, thank you all. We will say goodnight to you all. Again, reach out if you've got any questions and hope you all have a great summer. Thank you.